Hello. I'm on a swing. I'm happy summer solstice. My name's Talia. I'm at my grandma's house. I'm on a balcony and I'm celebrating something. I'm celebrating a lot of things, but I think today specifically, I'm celebrating the fact that I got my period back for the first time in over a year. And that's really awesome. I have been really struggling to have a period, and there's a lot of reasons for it. And honestly, I'll be candid about the fact that I have an IUD, so a lot of the time I would just write it up like, oh, I have an IUD, so I'm not gonna have a period. No, I just needed to also do a lot of nervous system regulation work. My nervous system was so messed up, and I was just chronically stressed, not sleeping. I wasn't eating. I went through a really bad spout of a relapse with my eating disorder last year, and I think it triggered a lot of that and a lot of unsafety in my body. I have a lot of, trauma, but I've worked through a good amount of it. Honestly, I feel like I've really worked through a lot of it. And I'm at a point now where it's just managing the regulation of my body, and it is a constant battle. But I think what I wanted to talk about here is the way that someone even gets to the point of losing a period, or the regulation of one's body, right? I was personally taught that my body was something to be controlled and forced into a certain mold or smaller position really early on, and so I used that and as the mode of trying to have some sort of control within my life amongst a lot of really, unplanned, uncontrollable for a child things, events like moving to another country, or, having to care for my sisters instead of myself, or dealing with a lot of different very hard experiences. And so, my body became the site of trying to find control. And it was this constant project of not being good enough, and something I needed to work on or fix or make beautiful. And it was I was constantly being pummeled with the fact that, from myself mainly, actually that's not true. I was really bullied too. So I was oh, okay, I don't look like my friends, so of course these people don't find interest in me. Or I was definitely the black sheep. It sounds like I was a black sheep, but I was kind of the black sheep of my friend group a lot, and just in general with school. And so my body became the site where that was then, I guess, I wanted to deal with it through that way, and that was really difficult. I developed a lot of bad eating habits and emotional eating patterns because of a lot of the hard experiences that I had gone through. So I was a bit chubbier, I would say, in middle school, which is so what? I don't know. It was I was a kid. But for me, that became a really big insecurity. I definitely wasn't healthy, I guess, in a typical sense. It's so hard because what is healthy for everyone? It looks so different, and everyone has different needs. I think that's been my craziest thing I've had to really come to terms with is like healthy looks different and feels different to everybody, and also is like mediated through different means. This is crazy too, but I just went through a research study on treatment of anorexia. That was my eating disorder that I dealt with, and it was done through a keto diet. And if you know anything about a keto diet, or if you don't, I'll just explain it. A keto diet is basically an extremely low carb, high fat diet. So not every single, but the regular standard diet for people is majority carbs, because carbs convert to glucose, which turns into energy for the body. So like, that's how you are able to live life, basically. It's like, that's your energy source. Well, fats can also become energy through ketones, hence the keto diet. And so when you deplete the body of carbohydrates and increase the fats to be the main provider of, calories, your body can turn that into fuel and run off that as a fuel source. It was like adapted for epilepsy, and epilepsy, they have seen, I don't know a lot about epilepsy, truthfully. I know that with the keto diet, epilepsy causes seizures. With the keto diet, one can treat those seizures and symptoms that come from epilepsy with the keto diet. Because of a reduction in inflammation in the brain. They don't know how it fully happens, because there's a lot of steps that go into that process, from what I'm aware of, from what the study told me, the research study that I was part of. And this wasn't just like some random research study. This was like sponsored by the National Institute of Mental Health. The paper's not out yet, but it's pretty cool. It was based off of like I just bumped my AirPod, sorry. It was based off of a study that looked at ketamine therapy and ketogenic therapy. I know ketamine therapy is still being analyzed for treatment of anorexia, but regardless, and I was a keto. I was a keto connoisseur for like 6 months, and it was crazy. It worked. It worked. I was like, whoa. And I was like, coming out of a really, really bad episode of anorexia. And I had dealt with anorexia earlier on in my life, and I guess recovered, but it was more so like I fell into other habits that weren't good, and I wasn't fully healthy with my eating, and I went back to, regardless, I just think I didn't understand nutrition fully, and to be honest, nutrition is really hard to understand. It's because it's changing so much. Like, my concept of nutrition changed so much after doing this study with the keto diet, because I was so scared of fats. That was like my biggest thing, and then suddenly I'm running off of fats, and I have to eat so much more than I was to maintain my weight, because I was underweight. Maintain and gain weight, because it's really hard to hold weight on the body on keto, because your inflammation within your body drops significantly, because your body goes into a state of autophagy without like being in a state of fasting. It's a lot of science I just threw at you. I'm sorry. It's a lot. But basically it works, and it's crazy, and you wouldn't expect it to work, or I didn't, especially because it's like, okay, we're gonna put these like people who restrict themselves on a diet where you literally restrict a whole food group. Yeah, alright, but I was like, but fine. And it was awesome. I mean, I felt really good on it, and I recovered. And then now I'm here in this position where I'm recovered and I'm back to eating carbs. And I tried going back to eating, well, actually I'm eating carbs, but I'm being more mindful, I would say. The cool thing about keto that I really enjoyed was how simple, really good quality food tasted like incredible. I am a huge foodie, which is I know, a huge anomaly, I would say, for someone to have anorexia and be a huge foodie, but I grew up cooking. I was on like a cooking show when I was 11. Like, I love to cook. I love food. I love learning about food. But you know, sometimes, you know, our demons manifest in interesting ways. So I was really committed to trying to make this like process of keto like really good for me, in the sense that I wanted to eat really good food. I love to eat food that tastes good, of course, like big whoop. Like, I mean, I feel like everyone does, but I was trying to make recipes or like meals that I knew were gonna taste so good. And when I did, and I was on keto, it was like, oh my god, this is like insane. This is the best thing I've ever eaten, ever. And it was like, of course it was, I mean, it was like, I was eating like a lot of like sardines and steak and like eggs. I ate so many eggs. I think there was like one day where I probably ate like a whole carton of eggs in one day, which is like, whoa, girl, what's going on in your body? That's probably a lot of gas, a lot of sulfur, if you catch my drift. But it was awesome. I felt incredible. Like, it was the most amount of energy that I had in so long, because when you're anorexic, you can barely like do anything. I would describe it as like, oh, I was like a walking husk. Even if I could walk, like sometimes I just could barely move. It was bad. But oh, again, I'm outside, so I don't know if you heard the motorcycle, but yeah. So it was this really crazy experience where I was feeling so good, eating good food that tasted really awesome to me, and I was healing my brain. And then I was like, okay, you know, I want to increase, like, I want to get carbs back in my diet. Like, I think it's time to try to do that. And it was a really scary thing for me, because I was getting opinions from so many different places. I mean, this keto for anorexic people treatment is new. It's like, I'm like freaking the lab rat. Like, there's not much on it. And so it was painted to be this like temporary treatment option, because it causes so much reduction of inflammation in the body that your like neurotransmitter heals, and so you don't get the eating disorder thoughts as much or at all. And that's something that's like, whoa, really, really awesome to have happen within a mere 6 months of a diet, rather than like years of therapy and like, you know, it's and for me, I've been in therapy for years. Like I didn't want to keep up this like same method of treatment that I know works to some extent, but like how much more can it work on this one thing that I'm just like I can't, like I personally didn't think it was gonna work for me for the state I was in. So I wanted something like drastic. And yeah, shit worked. Anyways, I was trying to get on to the point that I think that there is a diet for the seasons. I mean, we have, you know, our fruits and vegetables and produce as like a whole, and whatever is in season is meant to be like eaten in the seasons. Like, you know, there's a reason we crave watermelon in the summertime, and there's a reason we crave like pumpkins and squash and things. I mean, there's like summer squash, but like in like the autumn and winter seasons, because it's like you want something more grounding, and like it's just like there's a reason our bodies crave these things. So all of this is to say, my path right now has been healing my body through listening to what I crave. And that's really, really hard, but really powerful. And I don't know the specifics of how I was able to get to this point fully, but my hypothesis is because I was able to, I didn't eat sugar, added sugar for 6 months on keto. And when I got off keto, I didn't really crave sugar, like refined white sugar. I more so craved the idea of it, like, if that makes sense. Like, I really had gotten to a point where I enjoyed like zero sugar items, but mainly in the sense of like, I really love monk fruit, I really love allulose, and I really love like coconut sugar and dates, but those are not keto. But after I got off keto, I gravitated to those types of non-refined carbohydrate or not non-refined sugars, because I wanted to not spike my blood sugar super fast, because I like hadn't had carbs really in 6 months, so my body's gonna be very, very sensitive if I eat a lot of carbs or something that has like a really high glycemic index, which is like how much it spikes your blood sugar. And when your blood sugar spikes really quickly, you experience like a lot of hunger when maybe you're not, you know, in need of that hunger. It's like a stress response in the body. So I just threw a lot of science at you, and if you couldn't tell, I'm really passionate about this because it became something that I use to heal my body. But there's a lot of diet culture out there, and I'm not gonna try and tell you how to eat. I'm not gonna try and tell you how to move your body. I'm not gonna try and tell you, you know, how much to sleep, how much to socialize, how much to work. Like, the point of this that I wanted to get at is there are many different options, and I think the best thing for all of these paths is to just reconnect to what your body wants, and it will respond in ways that gives back to you. If you put energy and you feed yourself, not just like with food, like, you know, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, socially, you know, with food too, nourishment. If you give it what it asks for, it will give you what you want back. And depriving yourself of any of those things and trying to control it, it's going to fight you. It's going to make your body a war zone and an enemy almost. And your body isn't an enemy. It's the very thing that allows you to live throughout life and get to experience, you know, all the beauty and love that life has to offer. So I'm very proud of myself. Sorry, I'm like tearing up. And this has been a really long ramble, not a rant. And I hope that it made sense. But I just am so proud of myself to get to this point, and I didn't really know if it ever was going to be possible. Or how it was going to be possible. But I think that it seems so crazy how simple it sounds to just listen to your body, and I want to recognize the fact that it's really, really hard, and it's gonna be something that I will, you know, have to ebb and flow with. Like, I did keto for a season, and now I'm not doing keto, but I could always go back to keto if it felt like my body was in need, you know, of a tune-up, and I'm not gonna fight my body on that. But I've been just going towards what I've been craving recently, and that's been amazing, and it's been so fun, and it's been giving me so much energy, and I feel strong. My muscles have, you know, enough carbs to hold water in them now after keto, and keto was great too, like, for what it did. It's like it's all a seasonal thing. Not even just keto, like, there's just listening to what you're craving. Like, when I was on keto, I would crave a lot of keto foods because that's what my body wanted, and it was what it was running off of, and it had nutrients in there. Just nourish yourselves, love yourselves, treat your bodies with kindness, treat your mind with kindness, and it will reward you. And look at my muscles now. Like, hello? Like, come on now. That's awesome. And go sit outside. It's so beautiful. It's the summertime. And swing. And be kind to yourselves. And I am really appreciative if you watched this. I think there's a lot to learn, and I'm still learning about myself and my body and what it wants every day. So be gentle. Okay.